Hey there, everybody. This is Josh Perault with the Joe and Joe Movie Show with your first video review. That's right, first. You're going to have a lot more coming your way. For anyone who does not know what the Joe and Joe Movie Show is about, please visit us at www.facebook.com/Joe and Joe Movie Show. Or just put Joe and Joe Movie Show in the search bar. You'll find us either way. Pretty much what the show is about is movies. Yeah, that's about it. Joe Coyote and Joe Rico, the founders of this awesome show, have a podcast which is now weekly. If you go to iTunes, you'll be able to view that as well, or just go to Facebook and you'll be able to get any updates on what's going on, any new movies, movies they saw that you should see, shouldn't see, any opinions on those. It's a fun time. It's enjoyable, and I'm pretty much their other review guy. That's me, this guy. So what I'm going to review for you now, to get away from the show and onto the movie, is Thor. Thor just released on Friday. It's a 3D movie. You can see it in 2D as well, based on Thor from the Marvel comic universe. In short, Thor pretty much is an arrogant bastard that gets cast out of Asgard, which is pretty much his homeland, to Midgard, which is Earth. He was really arrogant. He couldn't become who he wanted to be. Ended up meeting some girl, fell in love with her, and after that he learned that, oh, I'm not such a bad guy and it shouldn't be how I was, and become better, and pretty much trying to get his approval back from his father Odin. That's pretty much it in reference to the story, to not give too much away and for you to still expect some surprises when you go and see it. People noted in the movie would be Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor. Chris Hemsworth is the guy who played Kirk's dad in the newest Star Trek movie. He was only in it for like 5 minutes, but that's how I remember him. He did a great job then. He did a great job with the character in this movie. You also had Natalie Portman, who played the love interest / scientist on Midgard, or Earth. Her name is Jane. So she did a really good job, and I'm not just saying that because she's my favorite actress. I'm saying because she actually did a really damn good job. Besides from them two, you had Anthony Hopkins, who of course did a great job. He played the part of Odin, which was really epic. You had Kat Dennings, who was Natalie Portman's assistant, intern kind of deal. She really didn't have that big of a role in the movie, but she was more towards the comic relief portion, which, she was funny. She was good. Clark Gregg returned as Agent Coulson, who was any of the S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents that you saw in the previous movies in the Marvel Universe, such as Iron Man, Iron Man 2, any of those portions that you would see in Agent from S.H.I.E.L.D., that was him. And also Samuel L. Jackson plays Nick Fury. He really wasn't in this movie at all. He may be there after the credits. Hint, stay after the credits, watch it, enjoy it. There may be something there. Just saying. And last but not least, Tom Hiddleston. He played Loki, who is the brother of Thor. Thor being the god of thunder. Tom Hiddleston playing Loki, he was the god of mischief, god of trickery. And he, in my honest opinion, did the best job in the entire movie. He really played Loki very well. He's supposed to be very deceitful. You're really not supposed to know what he may do or what he's really thinking, or really what his motives are. And that's exactly what he did with the character. Hands down, my favorite performance in the movie. Okay, moving on from who's in the movie, how about visually? Visually, it was stunning. It was a 3D movie. I did see it in IMAX 3D. Do I think the 3D was well done? Yes, and that's coming from me, who does not like 3D in movies at all, because they usually tend to ruin the movie for me. Example being like Resident Evil Afterlife. Couldn't stand the movie because they just concentrated so much on the technology and not the horrendous storyline they had. And sometimes 3D makes it really good, such as like Avatar. Seeing that in 3D was fantastic, and I didn't really want to see it out of 3D. Same thing with like Tron Legacy. But Thor technology was great. It did not take away from the story whatsoever. It was just a nice little bonus to have. But was the 3D absolutely necessary, and do you need to see it in 3D? No, not at all. It was the same movie either way. It didn't really bring much more to the table. It was just more visually exciting, if anything. So visually, it was great. The CGI was fantastic. It's very smooth, very crisp. It felt like you were in that world and that it was real to you, which is very important when you go to watch a movie, because if you're watching something and you don't believe what's going on, it takes away completely from the experience. You don't feel part of it, and the story just doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't grab you. Same thing with the audio. If the audio is off and you have great video, the movie is lost. You will not exit that theater feeling like it actually happened, feeling like you were part of it. But this movie succeeded in both fields of video and audio. You felt implemented in what was going on. Overall inclusion of the Marvel Universe with Thor, I always had a rough time. So, like, before I went into this movie, I was expecting an okay movie because I'm a huge comic book fan, and when you look at other people in Marvel, such as Captain America, he's a super soldier. You look at the X-Men, they're all mutants, like, they're all humans, but there's something, a little bit different with them, or sometimes a lot different. You got Bruce Banner, who's the Hulk, who just was part of a gamma radiation accident. So all these people are just that, they're people. But then you go to Thor, and he's a god from Norse mythology. I always thought that just didn't match up well. So I really never followed Thor within the comic book world unless he was included in different things, such as like Civil War or Secret Invasion, anything like that. But what they did with the movie was they really included Thor very well. They implemented his character into the Marvel Universe that they're setting up for the Avengers movie down the line, which will be next year. Like, I had no problem with it. They made little references to Stark and to Banner and to other people within the comic book world. And it just felt like he belonged. Which, again, if you look at the comics with me, I never thought that would happen because of how vastly different they are. But they made Thor human, in a sense. Like his character. Made him believable. Made him an actual nice addition to the universe they're creating. So overall, the movie, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I went in with lower hopes, but walked out very satisfied. A lot of people around me, some friends I went with, just listening to different audience members around, they really enjoyed it, and I will probably be seeing it again before it leaves theaters. So I suggest you see it as well. Definitely see it when it's in theaters. It's a visual, awesome trek that you're going to be on. And if you can see it in IMAX, if you have IMAX around you, I would suggest doing so. It's definitely worth it. Whether it's seen in 2D or 3D, it's up to you if you really like the 3D or not. If you do, you'll probably enjoy it. If you're not a fan of 3D, you can see it in 2D and you really won't lose anything out of it, to be perfectly honest. You won't be missing anything at all. So that's pretty much it. Thor, see it. Again, stay after the credits. You may see something. Just saying. So that's it for me. My name is Josh Perault with the Joe and Joe Movie Show. Catch us on Facebook. Catch us on iTunes with the podcast. And catch any video reviews that may come your way about different movies that maybe you want to see. Or maybe you're interested in, that you want to hear something a little bit about before you go ahead and spend those $10, $11 or whatever it is by you for this movie. So that's pretty much it. Catch you later.